Everyone, Dan McManus, CEO of Evasis, and I'm on the line here with Chuck Miller, owner of Louisiana Fireplace. Welcome to today's webinar, Chuck.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into some business topics today, talk about day-to-day operations, how software is able to help you streamline those day-to-day operations, and some pretty cool topics here, including the impact that's having on the customer experience. But before we get into that, let's talk about you and your business. And we met in New Orleans about a month ago. Great to meet you in person. How did you get into the hearth industry?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an interesting story. My wife and I were looking for a business to buy into years ago, and I actually found the business for sale on Craigslist. The owners was the daughter of the original guy who opened the place, and both of the parents had passed away, and she didn't live local, and she was just trying to get rid of the business. So we were able to work out a deal from there, and poof, we were in the hearth industry. No experience whatsoever, no knowledge of the hearth industry whatsoever, and we just jumped in with both feet.
That's amazing. And how long ago was that?
This past October was 10 years.
10 years. Goes quick. Let's talk about market trends. So here we are rolling through mid-2026. What products, services, what are some of your best sellers? What's moving out there this year? And what's different this year maybe than a few years ago?
Okay. Yeah, we have, like I said, we've been in the business about 10 years now, and products we have seen change more and more towards the easier use products. So we've gone from a lot of the wood burning inserts, wood burning stoves, to gas products. We're seeing a lot more electrics now, where people are wanting something just simple. They don't have to have a whole lot of maintenance to them. They don't have to do a whole lot of work themselves, and just the simpler the better. Even with gas logs type business, they want something like a remote that will light the pilot light, and they don't have to leave a pilot light on or figure out how to mess with any of that stuff. So the trend is more towards simpler is better.
And how does that impact your service business if someone's done electric, for instance?
Well, the service end of our business, we actually, when we bought the hearth store, we didn't realize there was service with it to begin with. And it has grown and grown. We added chimney sweeping as well. Not too long after we bought the store, we bought out the local chimney sweep. And we've grown it to the point where the last year or two, it's been about half retail sales, half service. And a lot of the retail sales are directly associated with the service because we do repairs and installs and all of that as well.
Yeah, makes complete sense. So now it's pretty balanced. Retail and service are driving about the same amount of revenue.
Yeah, the sales and the between products and service is about balanced. We make a whole lot more profit on the service side than we do on the retail side, but they both kind of feed each other. Even our chimney sweep business is kind of a break-even business. We don't make a whole lot of profit on that side, but it brings up all of the rebuilds and all of the larger projects for us. And it gives all of our customers a good feel for, okay, well, we know that they can take care of everything. We're one-stop shop, so we can do the rebuilds, we can do the installs, we can do any carpentry work that might be needed, we can do any of the brick work, just all of it together, and they're taken care of from there. So they like the easiness of that.
Sounds like they're using chimney sweeps as almost like an introductory service, and that's leading to other products and services, building out.
Yeah, very much so. It's kind of like just taking care of the customer on the small things, and then it builds up to the bigger sales in the long run. And a lot of it, we have learned to build that customer base. So there are customers who they just want you to take care of all of it. So we've started annual services as well to where we can just keep everything maintained for them. They're not having to think about, I need to call to have this work done. It's just set up for them, and they just expect the call and expect us to come and take care of it. And then if there's a problem, we can also fix all of those. And we're not just bringing a problem to them and saying, oh, well, your fireplace needs a lot of work done to it. Good luck finding somebody. We want to take care of all of their needs.
That's so smart. Get everyone up to a current schedule and just move into the next cycle. That's wonderful. Okay, let's kind of go back in time about a year. I think that's about as long as we've known you. We bumped into you, I believe it was in New Orleans at the National Art Show. You can sort of remember what your business was like back at that time. Can you describe the day to day and how you would, let's say, estimates and new customer leads when they came in?
Okay, so yeah, about a year ago was about the time we were starting or booking with y'all to get into business with you. We were in the process of trying to find a new software because I believe ours was being discontinued, and we didn't have a choice anyway. We had to find something. It was a desktop-based software, and we needed to move to a web-based software anyway. Just there were lots of companies out there, lots of expenses as far as being able to afford what they were wanting to supply, and as well as the time and technical requirements needed in order to get a new software running. We're a small business. There are, like 8 or 9 of us here. So we don't have a whole lot of extra time, a lot of extra energy, a lot of the technical know-how to do conversions like that. So we were looking for something that would be user-friendly for us because the technical level of all of us here is not that high. So we needed something user-friendly. And what we had at the time was getting archaic because we were having problems with trying to group pictures with customers, with addresses, with billing, with quotes, and being able to pay bills and collect receivables. It was just kind of a mess.
Okay, so let's think back to the first time you saw Loop, our cloud software. I'm guessing that was in New Orleans at the National Hearth Show, but what do you remember seeing? What was your initial impression?
Just the simplicity of it. The tiles, I think is what you call them on the screen, just very simple, clean look, user friendly. And yeah, the expo last year in New Orleans was where we initially saw it. Impressed with it. I remember going back to the booth multiple times to ask questions on, okay, well, how would we do this? How would Lou do this for us? How would it do this for us? And they always had the answer. It's like, well, we can work through whatever problems you have and make it function for you.
Yeah, you asked some great questions. I could tell you were a little bit skeptical, but you kept grilling us on questions, and I'm glad we passed the test and we were able to get you signed up. So fast forward to today, here you are about a year later, up and running with your business live on Loop. What's the impact been on your business?
Tremendous. It's been a great asset to us. We have been able to coordinate better with our technicians in the field, with our customers, being able to communicate with them easier, keep up with our quotes easier, just being able to have pictures that are uploaded automatically from our technicians in the field and being able to look at those and go, okay, yeah, I see a problem here. Here's what we need to fix. Here's what we need to take care of in this situation without having to make multiple trips out to the customer site and being able to talk intelligently. Like even on a new install coming up, the technician doing the install may not have been the person who found the problem. So it's a lot easier to explain to them, okay, here's what we need to focus on. Here's what you're going to be looking at. Here's the pitch of the roof. Here's, pictures of the house so that we can have all of our materials and equipment prepared beforehand.
Very nice. And we released a new and improved version of the service app this year. Do you know if your team's live on that newer app?
They are, and they love it. One of the problems whenever we switched over to Lou was being able to see very far into the future. Our technicians basically, with the older app, it was all you had was one day. You could see what was going on that day. But now with the new app, you can look into the future. You can look a day ahead. You can look a week ahead. I think it goes out a few months so that you can, my guys like to pre-plan, see what big jobs they have coming up, what they need to take care of, the equipment they need to have ready, and so forth. So that has helped a lot.
Yeah, and even if you're crawling in an attic, you can take pictures, pull the pictures off your phone now, and just load them into the app, and it syncs up when you're back online. So
Yep.
there's some nice improvements there. What about your customers' experience? You guys using the customer portal at all?
We are, and I think we've had some mixed feelings on it. In our industry, we've got a lot of older people who aren't as technically savvy. So we kind of have to hold their hand through all of it. And we still do, the physical bill mail outs and all of that too. But we do have some customers who love hey, just keep my credit card on hand and just post it when you get done, and I don't have to worry about it or think about it. And that has been very helpful for us as well.
Good. Yeah, it really ties together the text communication, the email communication, and the link to the customer portal. And at the same time, it's not for everyone, right? Some folks still want paper and that type of
Yep.
thing. We certainly support the printouts and paper as well. Awesome. Well, it sounds like things are going pretty well. I mean, what's the reaction from your team in terms of running on Lou versus what you had a year ago?
Well, as with anything, it takes a minute to get everybody acclimated and up and running. And they were all somewhat ready for a change whenever we changed to Lou. So that was a plus, because we were starting to get more and more failures as we progressed along with the other app that was being shut down. So it was a challenge. So they were happy when we switched over. There were some nuances to it that we had not had before. The checklist was helpful for us, but it was a change from the checklist that we had done before. So it was overall accepted. They liked it, but they really liked the new app, the new service app that came out. Just a ton more information and a ton more things that you could pull off of it that you couldn't with the old one.
Yeah, the checklists are really nice. You guys have a lot of customization options there. So you could do check boxes, open text, voice to text. Like there's just a lot of flexibility in terms of how you can customize those for your gang. So
Yeah.
that's good to hear. Let's talk a little bit about onboarding, right? Making that transition from an old platform to Lou is often a challenge. It typically takes a company like yours about 6 weeks, and we assign you an onboarding specialist to make it as easy as possible during that transition. So how did that go?
It was very easy, a very easy process. I've been unfortunately involved with onboarding other softwares before that have turned into nightmares, and in the process, firing one consultant and hiring another one and all of that along the road. But the technicians you have, consultants you use, people, and they're all in-house people for you. They know the software. They know what's needed. They know the process. And it was all along the road of, okay, here's what we need next. We need you to decide on this. This is what this is going to look like, how it's going to work, which way do you want to go, and setting up and pulling data from our existing system. And even to the point of, it's like, okay, I'm not comfortable with uploading all of this. So they walk through and would show us, okay, this is the process and this is how it's done, and just take care of it for us. Since then, we've also had our first price changes. The hearth industry, it's always in the spring. everybody changes their prices always up. So I've been able to download the materials list and get pricing updated and uploaded, and it's all functioning as prescribed. So it's all good. The the onboarding process that y'all did was just excellent, excellent work.
Well, thank you for that. Sounds like we did a good job of taking care of you. And there's definitely a big difference between saying, "Oh, I'll have to get back to you on that," and having the answers on the spot. And we really do train our team to have the answers right there at that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And I love what you pointed out with the mass inventory or the mass price update. We've tried that all different ways through the years, and the fastest way we found that's best for you is just as you said, you download that spreadsheet, you can alter all the price updates, and then you just re-upload the spreadsheet. You can of course go one by one if you want to. That is bar none the fastest method we've found over the years, and I'm glad that's working for you.
Yeah. It's working great.
Cool. So here's an interesting question. So if you could share one piece of advice for someone who's thinking, do I make the move? Do I want to put my business in the cloud with Lou or in the cloud in general? I mean, what advice would you offer someone who's contemplating that move?
It's definitely a plus to have it in the cloud. The other software we had was desktop based, and trying to work from home, um, during COVID was an issue because trying to log on and internet connections and everything else, trying to make all of that work was difficult. It's nice having it on the cloud because literally you log on from anywhere, get the information you need as long as you have a good internet connection. So that aspect of it is really good. You don't have to worry about, I've overloaded my capacity on the server, so we've got to expand and get a new server or new hard drive, or we need to upgrade to the next Windows or whatever. It's just, y'all take care of all of that. We just log on and do our work.
That's it. We do releases once every 2 weeks, always releasing new features. You're always on the latest version. Excellent. All right, just one more question for you, Chuck. Anything that you'd like to see in Lou in the future, whether it's something your team has mentioned or maybe you have a report request, anything you'd like to see in Lou?
I sent this actually to one of your texts, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and they're always very appreciative of the input, which is a plus of, yeah, thank you. I don't have something that works for that right now, but I'll send it off to my team and we'll see what would help in the future. One of the things that we are doing now is our annual service. So I forget what you call it, reoccurring
Recurring orders, POs.
reoccurring orders has been helpful, but I'm expecting the volume to go up and up. From there, it would be nice if there was like a map version where I could see all of my customers on a map to where I can say, okay, I'm gonna have a technician in this area. Who else do I have over there that I can contact and say, hey, I've got somebody that's going to be there, in 2 days. Are you ready for me to come service your fireplace, gas logs, whatever it is we may be doing for them? So something like that would be really cool.
Love that idea. That is, if it's specific to REOs, recurring orders, I want to see customers today, this week, this month, that type of thing. What a fantastic idea. Now,
Yeah.
Lou does have a way to visualize, of course, for this technician, show me the route, show me their 5 or 10
Right.
jobs you'll be running today. And you can see that very visually, but you're kind of taking that concept next level and saying, specific to recurring orders, I want to dial in and see if I'm going to have someone out in the area.
Or even my entire customer database, because we have right now about 4,000 customers and we have about 250 on recurring orders. So yeah, I was picturing or imagining something like like you see on realtor.com, where you could go to the map and look at all of the houses in a certain area, and they all
those dots.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, there's all of my options right there.
Yeah. That's such a cool idea. You could see all your customers and then filter it down to just recurring customers. So we'll dig into that.
Just an idea. But yeah, other than that, Lou has worked very well for us. we're pleased with the conversion. It's the expense of it was not horrendous. It's good. There at this past expo, we ran into several customers who had gone to, I think it's Service Titan, and they talked about the nightmare conversion and 6 months to get it implemented. And for a small business, I wouldn't recommend something like that. Y'all are a whole lot more user friendly and capable of handling the needs of the small business.
Excellent. And how long did it take us to get you up and running?
I'm thinking it was maybe about 6 weeks. It was not very long because it was nice because your people just set up weekly meetings or whatever time frame was needed, and special called meetings if we needed specific information, and would give us homework. But here's what you need to have for me next time we get together so that we can get it stay on process. And I think she commented once or twice of, you actually do your homework. Some of the customers apparently don't do their homework, so it takes a little bit longer to get it implemented. But she was happy that we took care of all of the stuff going along, or we could keep the project moving. So
That's excellent. Yeah, because it's all that inventory, the accounting, the data, and making sure that it's nice and clean, so you have a nice fresh start when you get up and running. So it's a lot to cover in 6 weeks. Glad it was smooth.
yeah, it went very smooth.
Perfect. Well, that is about it that we have for today. Your input's been fantastic. We'll do a quick shout out. If anyone wants more information about Lou, just go to ephesus.com/Lou or email us at lou@ephesus.com. Chuck, if someone has questions for you, would you be open to them sending you an email?
Definitely. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, that wraps up today's webinar. This is incredibly valuable information for someone who's thinking about making a move. Glad it was so positive for you and your team.
Yep, definitely. Thank you very much for helping us out.